Hello everyone, my name is Sand, and today we're going to be talking about a game. This is a game between Master Yoda that Master Yoda asked me at the end, how did I win it? So it's one round, not really one match, but the matches, actually, to be honest, these public matches were actually pretty good. But we're not talking about those. We're talking about the game with none other than the Yoda himself. Let's just get that, so I can't use my pen in full screen. So let's look at the game, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so there's a few things going on here, and there's a few things that I would have done differently, and that, of course, Master Yoda needs to do differently. There are a few things here. Oof, that's the yikes right there. Okay, so that's pretty much done. All right, so let's go. Let's go all the way back. And so basically, the reason why I'm reviewing this is because actually he said some things. Let's go skip a few. He's like, your first attack, like right here, you can see your first attack wasn't enough. How could a secondary attack work? And then after I beat Jassim, he's like, how did you win? How did you win? Your first attack wasn't enough. So let's actually see what is true here. Is he right? Is my first attack not enough? Did he have prod for a long enough time? And did he just get robbed from a win? Or did he just throw a game? Let's see. So, start with 50%, pretty standard. Unnecessary box select. That is one mistake that I just made. Unnecessary box select. Did not need to do that. Made me slow. And then box select again. Okay. Obviously, I must be pretty scared that I'm going to misclick if I'm box selecting my home. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so we skipped the 27. The only reason, okay, so I wouldn't, so that's not really, it's not really a good idea, and I'll tell you why. So this 4, let's talk about some things here actually. Okay, so I like to call certain planets hanging planets, worthless planets, and fill planets. Now, a hanging planet is a planet that needs to be defended by a cluster. Okay, so we have the cluster here, and this would be the hanging planet. Now, why is your home a hanging planet? Now, if we look at the map here, look how close all the planets are to each other. They're all just so close. Look at that. Even these, they're all close to each other. They could all be defended by each other. Apart from your home. It's the furthest away from every single planet here. So, it needs to be defended by a cluster. Typically, if it gets attacked by more than like 20 ships, it's going to need to be defended by another planet. It doesn't, I mean, obviously it's a home, so it technically doesn't really fall under the definition of a hanging planet. It would have to be extremely pushed out, which you don't really see on maps like this. Maybe if you had like 200 prod, you'd probably see it. But it is kind of hanging on its own here. And it does need to be defended by the cluster because like for a map like this, you're always going to be sending a large amount of ships because this is like all congested. So you're going to do any kind of significant amount of damage to your opponent. You're going to need to be sending a lot of ships because you can easily you can easily defend. You don't really need to be sitting at home with 20 ships in your fucking planets because you're going to be producing way too much and you're not going to have enough to do anything significant. So for this map specifically, your home is a hanging planet. You'll get used to it once you understand the concept. And then so a worthless planet would be a planet that's a hanging planet. But it doesn't have enough prod to justify it being taken. But it also has low enough planet cost that you can take it. So it's not terrible. It's not a fill planet, but it's a worthless planet. You don't need it to win. You don't need it to win. It's nice. The 4 is okay. It only costs 4. But you don't need it to win. So this is a mistake. I would say that this is a mistake. Well, the percentage that I sent is a mistake. Skipping it, and on this map specifically, yeah. So basically, look at the 27. You take the 27, you take the 9, and then what's left? You have the 50 and the 4, and the 26. Those are the only options you have left to take for the next minute of gameplay. So the 4 is nice. The 15 is safe. This is safe. This is safe. This is safe. But you're not going to win from safe. You need the 26 because you can take these planets whenever you want because they're safe, but you cannot take the 26 because I tell you right now, if you let this go on for a minute and then you decide to expand the 26, you're going to die. It's the same with the 50 here. Realistically speaking, you want your opponent to take... In fact, honestly, this 50 is kind of like a troll. Because if you take this 50, I don't know, unless your opponent is really terrible, I don't know that if you can get away with doing that, honestly. The prod isn't that much. It's kind of like, I would say this is a troll planet, because if you take it, you're going to definitely be on the defensive. Now, if you do manage to defend it, good, because that's like the second, that's like the only good planet left on the, like, of all the planets out here, it's the only one that's actually good, but obviously the planet cost is way too high. So yeah, you're going to want to take the 26 because you can't take the 26 later on in the game. You can always take the 5 and the 50 and all that safe, so you can take it later on in the game. Can't take the 26 later on in the game. Can't take the 31 later on in the game. So yeah. So your expansion here was actually better than mine, but there's actually other things that happen in this game. So let's keep going. So immediately you can see that I empty from my middle planet. And my home should be empty, and I'm attacking you with the planet that is being reinforced. And you decided to attack with an unknown percentage, but this is obviously too large because you're already 27 ships down, and then you want to send a significantly high percentage of ships forward. Why? I don't get it. Are you trying to trade? Because you're gonna lose this trade. This isn't the trade you're looking for. So let's go back. Let's watch this. Alright, so I do something. I let my ships land. I don't actually attack again. And then I redirect. So it's clear from my redirect that I'm not going for just a normal attack. There's going to be some floaty shenanigans. You saw two separate fleets that were not the same move at the same time. You know I'm using box select. You know something is going to happen. There's going to be some sort of float going on here. Alright. You saw that I sent a large percentage to corner planet, the hanging planet that we discussed, the worthless planet. So what is going to happen here? Obviously, it's clear I'm going to attack here, and I'm going to, because I'm emptying. This is empty. It hasn't been reinforced. I've attacked from this, so you know this is empty. The only other planet that you know is not empty is this planet and this planet. So what are you going to do here? What do you do here? Well, of course, if I was you, okay, if I was you, I would have redirected right back. But if I was going to do your strategy, I would just land on the home or here, right? Because that's going to force me to not be able to attack you again. Because why else would I delay this rush, right? Like, if you think about it logically, why would I delay this rush? Well, I'm delaying the rush because obviously I'm thinking about whether I should take the 27. Now, why would I be thinking about taking the 27 late? Because I already have the 4, right? So if I take the 27 late and that means I'm going to have more prod than you. So you have a choice to make. Either you take 26, which is not terrible, or you take the 4. But if you take the 4, that means you're going to be behind me in prod. Well, in ships. Maybe. I don't know. We can probably do the maths on that. If you gain more ships than blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Actually, that's a good one. It's kind of like a question. But that's what it is in theory. A lot of players are reactionary. They don't want to lose prod, because if you lose prod, you're probably going to lose the game. So you're probably going to expand something after that, which is going to allow me to once again be in a position to attack you, which is the kind of player I am, by the way. If you didn't notice, I'm a momentum-based, attacking, annoying player. That's me. So yeah, let's keep going. So yeah, my ships are landing, and my home actually is producing pretty well. It's not too bad. And yeah, again, like I said, you know there's floating. So, okay, this is like the worst thing here. So you redirect like away and blah, blah, blah. You see that I empty here, and Mio Monster says he 100. So I didn't use 100%, but, well, okay, I did use 100%, but not when he said it. And what Mio Monster is basically saying to you is you need to defend, and he's correct. You do need to defend. Now, because the only thing that you can do now is like attack me. But you don't want this. You don't want this. This is a distraction. Don't be distracted. You want this, but do you really want this? Because if you take this, what happens here? We already know Galquan. a limb is symmetrical. We already know this. So we know what happens. If you take this, you're trading your base. So, let's go. And what did we say about hanging planets? What did we say about hanging planets, boys? We said hanging planets are planets that need to be defended by the cluster. As you can see, the home is hanging, and it needs to be defended by a cluster because it doesn't have enough ships in it. So if I know this, what do you think I'm going to do, being a floating player, knowing that he's going to have to defend his home? We already know what's going to happen. You can see the reinforcements coming down here to cut off any potential reinforcements coming to the cluster. We already know what's going to happen. You can see all of this just from the way my ships are angled. Now, so my ships start landing here. My ships are hitting here. He reinforces here. You see I've already got box select activated. Redirect back. Done. So what did we do here? So we already know. He's going to defend using his home. He can't. He's going to use this to defend this because that's why we're sending spamming here. Otherwise, he'd lose this planet, right? He'd lose it. But yeah. So we kind of already know what planets are going to be empty based on everything. And then so obviously I redirect back into his home, take his home. He defends this, but yo, these ships are way too late, so you lose. You're cut off from the rest of your cluster. Boom, you lost. So was my first attack enough to kill you? No, it wasn't enough to kill you. You're correct. But it was enough to definitely take one of your planets. Now, why would you want to lose one of your planets when you're already ahead? You don't want to lose it. If I'm ahead, you don't want to lose it, right? There's nothing wrong with attacking a player who has more, who's rushing you. There's nothing wrong as long as you use lower percentages. And this 4 was a mistake. Error on my part. For some reason, you were fixated on it. So yeah, that's it really. I hope you learned some things. Don't do this again. I didn't necessarily do anything impressive. I just played. There were things that I did wrong. Could have done a lot better. You just did a lot more wrong. And that's how I won. The second attack was always going to work because you never had enough ships to defend because you, for some reason, didn't redirect. So yeah, it's like you traded your entire cluster for a 4 that's worthless. So yeah, that's what happened there. I have nothing else to say. I'm sorry. I know that I said I was gonna review other games of yours, and I said that last year. It's well, yeah, it's a year from then. If you want me to review any games, not just you, other people who will watch this to learn, that's fine. I think I have a set versus pretty much every single Olymp player. I just haven't got around to putting them on YouTube. If there's anything that you're interested in, if there's any like basic concepts that you want to understand, I will be more than happy to make that video because I get a lot of questions and honestly, I'm too old to keep teaching people. Alright, I just need to like have a video that I can say, look, go do it. Go do this. So yeah, that was it. Peace. How do I need to close?